We teased this last episode, okay, that even though we believe the office of elder, pastor, overseer, minister, okay, and to use our terminology today, a lot of people see pastor, minister, we use that same word. In the New Testament, it's the word poimen, pastor, and then it's overseer, and then it's elder. Mm-hmm. We believe that office must be held by a man. We believe that's consistent with what God expects for the family unit. We believe that that is consistent with headship, and none of that in any way, biblically or otherwise, diminishes women or diminishes those who aren't called to those offices who are men. Okay, everything comes down to, I love how Paul described it in terms of the body, right? Everybody has a part to play.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're trying to flourish in those ways, but we're not belittling women at all. And to that end, let me just say, I have been in churches in context over the years where, if not in teaching, in practice, women were treated, or they would feel like second-class citizens, where they couldn't serve on a finance team, or they weren't invited to serve on a personnel team, but they could serve on the kitchen committee. You know what I mean? And I'm being dead serious. Like, there are places like that around the world where that happens. Yeah. And maybe the public stance is that everyone's equal, but people take what we believe and know to be true, 1 Timothy 2 and 1 Timothy 3, from a complementarian perspective, and they extend that into areas of leadership that are oppressive and hurtful. Like, there are places where a woman can't pray in public on stage in the church, or can't serve as an usher, or can't give a ministry moment update, or, well, where is that in the Bible?
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like there's unnecessary, even maybe ungodly bleed from his beautiful design in terms of headship and the offices that we're describing into other dynamics of leadership where there is no either biblical evidence to support that bleed. And I think there's a lack of understanding of how that can be hurtful to women.
Right. Absolutely.
And I've seen that over the years where, churches they get up in an uproar because a woman prayed in public. Well, that's much different than teaching in a mixed crowd, men and women, and then exercising the spiritual oversight of an elder.
So I think we would say in those cases, just as in a home, sometimes the head of the home can be sinful in either direction, either in laziness in giving or harshness. Yes. So too in churches, as sometimes in word they're trying to uphold loving complementarianism. Yep. Sometimes as they act and in their deeds, they're really actually falling into that sin of harshness by pretending as though women have never done anything. Which, when we go back to Scripture in just a little bit, we're going to look at some women who did some amazing things.
Oh, incredible. You go back to the Old Testament, you have Deborah.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
And so just as in the home, we can neither abdicate nor can we be abusive, there's a just right? There's a just right temperature to that water that is exactly right. So too in the church, there's a careful balance to make sure that it's not an abdication, nor is it an abuse. Each church has to make sure we're doing right to make sure that it is a loving complementarianism, upholding the roles and the values, and say, here's what Scripture, I think, is saying that women can lead in, participate in. We'll get into Phoebe and the possibility of her being a deacon. But what we're saying is, God has said to the pastor, this is male qualified. But there's a lot of roles, a lot of leadership components and capacities that women can carry out.
Totally agree, and that's where I think it's important to say, right? I've never been a part of a church where women weren't key leaders. Right. In the church where Ben and I serve today, I mean, we have so many women who serve on our staff team in a high capacity. They serve on our ministerial team in a high capacity. Right. Literally, we would not be where we are today without the women who serve us so well, serve our church and our community with a gift,
and being utilized in the right sense with the right heart.
In the right roles and forth. So we don't want to go too far. We don't want to have unnecessary bleed from complementarianism. And that has to be affirmed. And it doesn't just have to be affirmed in word. For those of you who are leaders in churches across the country, around the world, you need to embody that. Mm-hmm. The women on your staff team should be appreciated and valued. I think men are wise to understand that churches by necessity in terms of the pastoral office are going to be male dominated cultures.
Yeah.
And we need to be sensitive to that and be respectful of that. And so there are a lot of dynamics here to consider, not just in saying as a complementarian, well, this is my view and it's the right view and it's the right, hermeneutical process to get to the right conclusions here. Okay. But to live it out in a way,
right,
like you said, that's not abusive, nor is it neglectful.
Yeah.
It's balanced.
That's right.
And I just think that's so important today, because again, there isn't a single church in the world today that could do what it does without the dynamic leadership qualities of the women who are part of that each fellowship.
Right. Exactly as in a family, if you're missing one or the other, or if there's an absentee one or the other, the family isn't quite right. Right.
Yes.
And I think that example holds true, that men and women come together, and with kids, right? Like everyone in the church has a role to play in the church. And without, if someone's lacking or abusive, there's always an issue.
Hey, thanks for watching Theology is Fun. If you enjoyed this short clip and you want a little more theology
and a lot more fun,
well, then be sure to click the link above, which will take you to one of our episodes.